Well, here we are, guys. Dave from Dave's Glory Shopworks here. And we're going to pull the engine on the Dodge Dart again. Ah. Look, I could be completely down in the dumps and sad about it. I could be angry. I could be volatilely destroying things in the garage and beating on other vehicles and stuff. I could be a lot of things. But what I'm not is a quitter. So on this video, we are going to pull the engine, drain the oil, drain the coolant, and I'm going to set it up on the engine stand again. I'm going to flip it over, pull the oil pan off, and start looking for issues. Well, okay, we're going to pull the oil pan off, and we're going to pull the oil pump off, and then we're going to flip it over. We're going to check out the main and rod bearings, see how they're looking, and decide what the best way to repair that's going to be. I do have some parts coming, but that remains to be seen. Now, as for that, I suspect it's my oil pump. I'm almost 100% sure it's the oil pump. I've dealt with this kind of issue in the past, not from the same steps gone into it, but I've dealt with failed oil pumps before. So, alright, anyway, long story short, that's what we're going to do. Stick around. Let's see what we can find together. You guys throw some comments down. Let me know what your thoughts are. I love seeing your comments, and I really appreciate all the helpful tips and tricks and anything you guys got to offer. Alright, let's get to it. I swear we were just here. Okay. I'm almost dumbfounded where to start. Imagine. One Moroso beehive top air cleaner. I say beehive top, this little dome actually helps when you have a drop base on your air cleaner. Keeps a little more airflow in there. One Quick Fuel 750 double pumper, no choke horn. It's the QFT race version. I can't remember, it's, I don't know, RC 750 or SS 750, whatever. I don't remember. I've had this carburetor for several years. Oh, 750AN for annular boosters, because I care. So I got the fuel line disconnected. Now I'm disconnecting my throttle cable. Always keep your clip with your pivot. Note the patented, well, non-patented, homemade out of an original small block Dodge. Yeah, throttle cable bracket. That's the words. Oh yeah, not pulling those off. It's these guys. To have the return springs hooked up to the base of the carburetor, and that is to, one, make a tidier product, and two, aid in disassembly, because I don't have to continue to undo springs and whatnot and everything. I just literally pull it off and leave it in the spot it's at. If any of you care, I'm wearing my extra tight shirt today because that was clean in my drawer. Not so I can slide underneath the car any easier or show off my curvy figure. like I was saying, I mean, I could be cranky about this and all peeved off and everything, or I can just get to her. There, one carburetor. Paint stirring cups. Hey, what a good idea. One throttle body or carburetor spacer that this was a square bore to spread bore style adapter, pretty standard procedure, but I really ported the heck out of my intake manifold and I wanted to continue that, so I bolted the throttle body spacer, carb spacer, down, and then continued porting and blended everything. Even the gasket, I blended the gasket in because I wanted everything to just be so. And I like it. Geez, I did that, oh, 15 years ago. Still holding up, not leaking. Might as well pull spark plug wires now. Disconnect distributor. You know, I should be timing myself, but I can't be bothered that badly. Distributor hold down. Distributor. Oil pressure sensor, because I don't want it to bash against the side of the, or the, off the firewall if I have to tip the engine. And my phone rings. You get the idea. I'm going to finish my smoke. I'm going to start with the headers. Pull the power steering, pull the accessory drive, pull the radiator. Coolant's drained now. I did that while I was talking on the phone. And I've already got the wiring disconnected. I love the wiring. 2 wires for the distributor, 1 connector. Oil pressure sensor, coolant temperature sensor, 2 wires for the field on the alternator, and 1 main battery cable for the alternator. I gotta pull the ground off after I get the power steering pump out of the way. Love it. So yeah, coolant hoses, radiator, headers, accessory drive, loosen off the engine mounts. And that's the top side done. I'll bring you back when I'm all done, and we'll keep on trucking. Alright, you missed a little bit of that footage, but honestly it's, kind of dry stuff. So, and sped up and all with silly music maybe. Anyway, don't know what I'm going to edit it like yet. That's the top end done. Just finished getting the last 4 bell housing bolts out. Headers are disconnected. I'm going to leave the spark plugs in because I don't have to pull them out. There's no danger to snapping them off. Carb plate is on. All the accessory drives removed. Coolant's drained. Out of the radiator anyway. I'm going to go mess out of the engine block, but that's par for the course. Next up, jack it up and take the bottom. What do we got in the bottom? I got 2 oil cooler lines. I got 12 lower bell housing bolts because I run a scatter shield with a mid plate. And the starter, which is included in those 12 bolts, is it? Yeah, I think so. Alright, maximum of 14 bolts. Should be only 12. The 2 hoses for the cooler, they're just hose clamped on the hose barb end fittings. I'm going to have to fight with those a little bit to get them off, but so be it. It's all part of the game. And that's it. Engine mounts are loosened off. Like, this thing's ready to pluck. So I'm going to get ready to pluck it. Bottom end is disconnected. I did not film it again. Not really exciting watching me flounder around underneath there, moving my curviness to places where I could get at all the bolts. But I was right, 12 bolts. And 2 cooler lines, which I had to cut them. Might have to get new ones now. They might be too short. Either way, not worried. Carrying on, pulling engine. Now, if you guys are wondering, this is a Ram dual friction. And so far I've had mixed results, but I believe I just found my issue while I was underneath the car. I think my release bearing, which I measured twice, my release bearing is putting preload against the fingers. Not cool. Hey, good news. My rear main seal is dry. Would you stop peeing already? Don't they just know how to make a mess? It is just pee and coolant everywhere. And now a little bit of engine oil. Even better. Anywho. Engine's on the stand. You know the drill. I'm going to pull the coolant drain ports on the sides of the engine block, which does not get rid of all the coolant, but it helps. And it'll make for a slightly less drooly mess. And then drain the oil out of the engine, flip it over, and let's start looking for what the heck. Coolant drained, oil drained. Last 9 oil pan bolts.
As you can see, in the last video, I tightened them. I tightened with my little gun here, zip them down. And then I tightened them by hand as well. And these are loose. And that's the joys you get with a cork gasket. You can never tighten them often enough. I prefer a one-piece steel inlaid rubber gasket, but they don't make one that properly works for the 340. Sorry, a factory application that works for the 340. I think Moroso does or did sell one. Where's my pry bar? Screwdriver. I don't like prying on the oil pan, but I also RTV sealed both sides of the gasket. Because I don't like leaks, even more.
Ooh, no, no, no. Can you see that? I have got bearing carnage everywhere. Where's my magnet? Where's my magnet? I swear I put a magnet in the bottom of this oil pan. Did the engine eat the magnet? Or did I just forget to put it in? I used to be bad for that on automatic transmissions. Found my magnet. After I cleaned it, I put it on a little press stand that I have to keep it clean so I could put it in the engine later. Well, it's later now. It will get it. There is bearing material everywhere in here. Something failed hard. I'm going to pull the oil pump off. This isn't great. A lot worse than I was expecting. Anyway, pull the oil pump off. I'm going to put it on the bench for now. Got to get the windage tray out of the way. And I'm going to check the plug. I had removed, there's a divider plug at the back of the engine, and I'd removed it, and it divides these two spots basically right here, the in and the out for the oil flow. I installed it again and checked the height, measured height, but I want to see if it dropped out of the way or if it came loose or something. We're going to check that right now. Okay, I gotta measure that and check the specs in the book. Well, this is my serious face. I'm not too happy so far. I got a couple of connecting rods that are walking around. This may be a shorter video than expected. Let's carry on. Okay. Number one connecting rod. There's a bit of junk. There's a bit of junk in there. But it didn't spin. And the journal looks fantastic. Okay. But I can tell you it definitely hammered around a little bit because now it doesn't fit right. Okay. Insert somber music here, if you will. Okay. Number two actually fits in still nice, and it looks beautiful. Okay. And dang, I shouldn't put that back down. And yeah, the crank journal looks fantastic. All right. Grab my ratchet. Alright, here's number 7. Looks fine, but like it looks great. I don't know. No real marks on the crank. I'll call a win for number 7 if it fits in the cap good. So here's the weird part about that. The weird part about 6 and 7, 7 being in really good shape, 6 being beat to hell, they're both fed by the same main bearing. Both of them are fed by number 4 for oil. Doesn't make sense yet. So the way we've got it right now, number 1, 3, and 6 connecting rod bearings are beat. And number 3, I'm going to show you something. I kept it out. You look at this guy. So he's beat up pretty good and doesn't fit anymore. The tang is gone, the locating tang. It's mashed right out. So this spun. That's gonna hurt things a little bit. Crankshaft needs to be ground. I don't know if it's gonna clean up at 10 thou. I mean, probably. Number 3 looks good. Number 6 was kind of okay. Number 1 looked a little beat. 10 thou would be my happy, but probably 20 thou to be on the safe side for the rods. The mains, I'll show you number 4 here. Alright, the main, you see how polished it is? Like, that's very little runtime. I've got a little bit of bearing covering still left here, the initial coating, but the rest of it's wiped right off. And that's on, most of the bearings have some of this polish, but this one's the worst one. And again, lack of oil. But all of the main bearing journals look fantastic. So the mains were at least getting some oil. Anyway, like I said, oil pump, main issue. I've got one option, low buck as it were. Out in one of my sheds, I have a 318 LA. I don't know what year it is. I want to say early 80s, late 70s possibly. I'll check the date code on the block. I haven't done that yet. Now 318s and 340s, most people don't know, they share the same main bearing journal and connecting rod size. Well, all the small block LAs share the same connecting rod size. But the only difference is this being a cast crank 1973 340, this was externally balanced. All of the 318s, whether they were a cast crank or a forged crank, are internally balanced. So what my thoughts are is pull a piston and connecting rod out of that 318, measure the weights. Basically I'm measuring the bob weight for the crank. If the weight is anywhere close, like if the 340 rods and pistons are just a tiny bit heavier, couple grams, I can shave that off in the right areas, and I can turn this into an internally balanced 340. I personally like internally balanced, but it all depends heavily on whether or not they're going to do the job. Now, if that is the case, if the pistons are what I'm worried about, because the connecting rods, I think for the sake of it, I might pop for a set of forged connecting rods. I need full floating pin anyway to run these pistons, and I prefer full floating pin. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Come on, I'll show you the engine. So here it is. This 318 was plucked from a truck, it looks like, by the pan. It's not even all that oily. Like, I can't tell you for sure, of course, how many kilometers are on it, but I can tell you it was pulled because it was a good engine and it was pulled complete. So anyway, it was a good engine. It was pulled complete. and it's a good candidate. I have no use for us. It's dry seized as well. Not worried about that. I have no use for a dry seized 318. I'm not gonna clean it up and get the rings moving and running and run it and drive it. Not when I can get that 340 back together, of course. Well, what do you think, guys? Get this 318 out, strip the crank out of it, and start measuring bob weights for the crank. It's a long shot, but I tend to live on long shots. Yeah. All right, well, I've convinced myself. That's what I'm going to do. And you'll have to wait and see on our next video how we made out. I'm Dave at Days of Glory Shopworks, and thank you all for following along.